An army of more than 40 million kangaroos is spreading across Australia, turning vast grasslands into a battlefield for survival. They strip away vegetation, compete with livestock for food, damage crops, and create serious risks on roads, where a sudden jump can cause deadly accidents. To regain control, Australia divides its territory into management zones, monitors kangaroo populations, and sets separate quotas for each area. Commercial hunting is also permitted, helping reduce their numbers while making use of the meat and hides. In 2024 alone, more than 1.31 million kangaroos were removed from the population across 5 states. But how can Australia solve this crisis when the kangaroo itself appears on the national coat of arms? Join Mandarin Tech as we uncover the full story. The story of kangaroos began 40 million years ago, when the ancestors of marsupials were already living across the southern continents. When Australia became isolated by the ocean, they entered a closed world with little competition from other large mammals. Around 10 million years ago, the climate became drier, forests began to shrink, and grasslands expanded. The ancestors of kangaroos moved out of the trees and developed powerful hind legs with elastic tendons that worked like springs. This structure allowed them to travel long distances while using little energy, while their digestive system helped them survive on low-quality grass. Their greatest advantage, however, is reproduction. A red kangaroo is pregnant for about 33 days and its newborn weighs less than 2 grams. A female can support 3 generations at the same time. One young kangaroo outside the pouch, another feeding inside it, and an embryo whose development has temporarily stopped. During a long drought, the embryo remains almost completely inactive. As soon as the rain returns, development continues, allowing the population to recover quickly. Isolation, a harsh climate, and a remarkable reproductive system have made kangaroos masters of survival. At James Walsh's farm in Victoria, there are days when more than 1,000 kangaroos sweep across the pastures, making the whole hillside seem to move. Behind this striking scene, however, are broken fences, grass eaten almost to the ground, and feed for cattle disappearing fast. Walsh estimates that kangaroo pressure costs his farm about 150,000 Australian dollars each year. Without having to compete with wild herds for grass, he believes production could almost double. His case reflects a much wider change across Australia. From 2010 to 2011 alone, kangaroo numbers in surveyed areas rose by more than 9 million, bringing the total to 34.3 million. The real national figure may be even higher because many remote regions are not checked regularly across the country's vast and dry interior. The boom began after seasons of good rainfall. Green pastures helped adult kangaroos regain strength while more young survived. Human activity also extended these favorable conditions by clearing bushland, drilling wells, building reservoirs, and providing water troughs for livestock. When drought returned, grass and water quickly ran short, but kangaroo numbers could not fall at the same speed. Large groups moved toward farms where food and water remained. Pastures were grazed harder, cattle gained weight more slowly, calves took longer to reach market size, and rising feed costs directly weakened farmers' livelihoods. Overpopulated kangaroos can reduce grasslands to areas with almost nothing left to eat. In one study in Australia's dry regions, red kangaroos reduced available vegetation from about 1,200 kilograms per hectare to less than 20 kilograms, a decline of more than 98%. Constant grazing prevents young plants from flowering, producing seeds, or recovering for the next season. Over time, grasslands become thinner, bare soil expands, and the ecosystem loses its ability to restore itself. This was clearly seen at Guru Yaru Nature Reserve near Canberra. After kangaroo numbers were reduced, plant biomass in some areas doubled. The results showed that the grassland could recover, but had previously been held back by long-term overgrazing. Across Australia, this pressure threatens 152 plant species and 5 endangered animal species. Insects lose food and host plants, reptiles lose shelter, and ground-nesting birds become easier targets for foxes, feral cats, and birds of prey. A 25-year study at 23 grassland sites in the Australian Capital Territory also recorded a serious decline in the grassland earless dragon. At 3 of the 10 remaining monitored sites, the species was no longer found. The crisis eventually affects people as well. As food and water disappear, kangaroos move closer to farms, towns, and roads. In 2025, AAMI recorded more than 24,000 animal-related vehicle claims, most involving kangaroos. More than 4,500 vehicles were written off, while the average claim exceeded 9,000 Australian dollars. Despite the damage kangaroos can cause to grasslands and farming, Australia does not allow unrestricted hunting. Kangaroos remain protected native animals, so anyone who hunts them must hold a license, complete approved training, meet accuracy standards, and receive permission from the landowner. In 2024, commercial harvesting across 5 states removed about 1.31 million animals, yet this represented less than 27% of the maximum number approved. Most hunts begin after dark, when kangaroos leave cover and move into open areas to feed. Hunters travel slowly through licensed zones in specially equipped vehicles. Spotlights sweep across the ground, helping them detect animals from a distance, identify the correct species, and choose a suitable target before approaching. The act of firing is also tightly controlled. Under the national code, the shot must be aimed at the head so the animal loses consciousness immediately and does not suffer for a long time. Hunters may fire only when the target is clearly visible and within an effective range. If the kangaroo moves too quickly, is partly hidden, stands among other animals, or the angle is unsafe, the hunter must let it go. Each state also sets limits for individual species and management areas. In New South Wales, the usual ceiling is 17% for red kangaroos and 15% for grey kangaroos and wallaroos. These figures are maximum limits, not targets. In practice, New South Wales recorded 317 animals harvested that year, equal to 5.6% of the surveyed population within the state itself. Australia strictly controls the hunt down to the individual animal through rigorous national standards. When the gunshots fall silent and the kangaroos lie motionless in the pitch-black plain, the collection and field processing procedure begins immediately to complete this tightly managed chain. A specialized vehicle moves into the scene, hoisting each harvested animal by its 2 hind legs onto steel hooks. Hunters quickly remove the feet, some limb portions, and internal organs, keeping only the torso that holds the most meat. Notably, no kangaroo is allowed to keep its tail. The tail serves as biological evidence representing each individual removed from the population, which must be submitted to the Australian government to control sustainable harvesting operations. After field processing, each carcass is tagged with traceability information and transferred to a specialized refrigerated truck, hung on stainless steel hooks, and kept at temperature-controlled conditions that meet export standards. However, behind that precise industrial process lies a quiet aspect of nature. Many female kangaroos are killed while carrying young in their pouches, leaving orphan joeys out in the wild. Although rescue groups make great efforts to search for them, only about 10 to 20% of the orphan joeys are found and survive. This modest rate is a quiet reminder of the invisible price nature pays, even within the most strictly controlled harvesting system. From the refrigerated trucks, the kangaroo meat is delivered straight to the processing plant to begin a specialized inspection and handling stage. At the receiving area, kangaroo carcasses are hung on an automated conveyor system, quietly moving through multiple checkpoints in a cold, sterile environment. Workers equipped with protective clothing, gloves, and face masks conduct an initial inspection. They carefully examine the skin, muscle tissue, and visible external signs to detect any abnormalities, ranging from mechanical wounds to factors that could affect hygiene. Every step is executed with the utmost caution, as the product represents an industry targeting international markets with rigorous standards. After completing the initial check, the kangaroo carcasses continue their journey deeper into the facility. Suspended upside down, they are brought to the skinning area, where workers use specialized knives to separate the hide from the meat with precision and decisiveness. avoiding damage to the muscle tissue. The skinned carcasses remain on hooks, drifting along the conveyor belt to an intermediate evaluation station before detailed sorting. Here, workers directly assess the meat through sensory judgment based on color, texture, and odor. The three core criteria used to determine original freshness and ensure the product meets the highest standards before reaching the market. Having passed the internal inspection, the kangaroo carcasses are moved to the boning and primal cutting area, where human skill takes center stage. At long stainless steel tables, dozens of workers coordinate with machine-like harmony. With sharp knives and precise movements, they carefully separate muscle groups along natural muscle seams, including the loin, rump, chest, leg, shoulder, and ribs. Every cut demands high precision to protect the grain structure of the muscle fibers, preserving the final flavor and quality. Despite the fast pace, the process flows smoothly without rushing. Finally, the cuts receive an ultimate check, are placed neatly onto trays, and are sorted by size. Once the meat has been cut, inspected, and sorted, the final stage begins: packaging. Fresh kangaroo meat stands out for its deep red color, firm texture, and virtually fat-free profile, features that set it apart in the global market. Each portion is placed in a specialized plastic bag and passed through a vacuum sealer to remove air, extending shelf life and preventing bacterial growth. The bags are then carefully labeled with information such as meat cut, weight, packaging date, and a traceability code. These vacuum-sealed bags are neatly packed into cardboard cartons, ready for commercial distribution. The cartons are stacked onto pallets and loaded onto refrigerated trucks for transport to the airport. From there, the cargo is exported by air to demanding international markets like Europe, where strict quality and food safety controls are enforced. Thus, starting from fresh cuts of meat, the kangaroo's journey continues, no longer on the processing line, but inside creative kitchens around the world. Each product not only carries the unique flavor of the wild, but also showcases the pinnacle of a closed-loop, modern processing workflow that meets the expectations of global diners. However, the utilization of kangaroos does not end in the kitchen. Following the nutrient-rich meat, their durable hide continues to be fully exploited. Through a combination of traditional craftsmanship and modern tanning technology, kangaroo leather is transformed into a premium material for the international fashion industry. Renowned luxury brands such as Gucci, Prada, and Hermes have incorporated this material into exclusive designs, ranging from footwear and handbags to a wide array of luxury accessories. In the first stage of the crafting process, the kangaroo hides are loaded into large industrial drums. Here, they are soaked and washed with specialized chemicals to completely remove remaining dirt, grease, and hair. After hours of continuous tumbling, the hides become softer and more pliable. Though resembling giant sheets of sandpaper at this stage, they possess incredible elasticity and tensile strength. After completing the flattening and drying phases, the kangaroo leather enters a crucial stage: dyeing. Each hide is carefully stretched on specialized frames in a fully extended state to ensure even pigment distribution. An automated spray system then coats the surface with high-quality dyes, ranging from classic tones like brown and black to modern color palettes tailored for the international luxury market. Every layer of color undergoes strict technical quality control regarding pigment density, adhesion, and sheen, which ensures both flawless aesthetics and enhanced durability. Following the dyeing process, the hides pass through a thermal pressing machine to fix the color, refine the texture, and create an even shine. Workers carefully inspect each sheet once again, discarding any products with defects such as wrinkles, cuts, or uneven coloring. Hides that meet the standards are neatly rolled or stacked, then stored in a temperature and humidity-controlled environment. From here, they are ready to be transported to manufacturing workshops or luxury fashion houses to be crafted into coveted high-end goods worldwide. From the processed leather sheets, the transformation into premium accessories officially begins. At the belt manufacturing facility, artisans re-inspect the leather, mark it, and carefully cut it into precise, long strips using specialized rulers and knives. These leather strips pass through a skiving machine to thin the edges, creating a refined look. They are then pressed and stitched using industrial machines to ensure straight, sturdy seams. Upon completion, the brand logo and product code are stamped on the backside as proof of origin and authenticity. Each belt undergoes a final quality check before being packed into a protective bag, ready for global distribution. In addition to belts, Kangaroo leather is also crafted into elegant, handcrafted wallets that boast exceptional quality and aesthetic value. The wallet-making process demands absolute precision in every cutting and stitching step, maximizing the unique advantages of this lightweight yet ultra-durable leather material. The story of the kangaroo shows how a national symbol can be both protected and serve as an important commercial resource. The journey from natural grasslands to the global food and fashion industries reflects a unique connection between nature, the economy, and social life. In your opinion, is controlled kangaroo harvesting the optimal solution, or should Australia seek another direction? Please click like and follow Mandarin Tech to continue exploring the fascinating industries quietly shaping the world.